one of the things that I would probably suggest you not do is should all over your farm. The generation before you, they worked hard at it. Obviously, if it's still operating and you have the opportunity to come back, they haven't screwed it up too bad. I promise you. No matter what you learned in college or what you learned on YouTube, you know, we have to have an appreciation for the generation before us that is offering us the opportunity to come back. And so, shooting is a terrible thing to get into. And my dad is somebody who is absolutely incredible for the fact that he never hid anything about the farm business from me. And that is an incredible opportunity. You know, even when I was a little kid, sometimes it was difficult to hear, but even when I was a little kid, he would sit there and he would take me to all the different, you know, when he was buying a tractor or a truck. I was on a loan at 10 years old with the local bank buying a tractor. I'm pretty sure I did sign that sucker. He told me, he said, you know, this is your tractor. We're going in, we're gonna buy it, and this is the one you're gonna use. And when you turn 20 or 18 or whatever, if you decide to come back to the farm, this will be your tractor. And so that was a great experience. You know, I got to go in, I listened to the whole process with him and the local banker. It was actually, I had an internship with that banker later on, and I learned an incredible amount. He was a great mentor, and really enjoyed that experience. But, you know, I'd been meeting him since I was 10, so take your kid along with you, whatever you're doing. That is an incredible opportunity, especially in the summertime when your kids are off school or whatever. They get a little older, they can understand a little bit more, but have those conversations with your kids about everything. Not that it's all going to soak in. I still learned more when I started putting money in raising my own cows, which is something I would do differently. You should do differently, if we will, in this video, is give your kids ownership. I think that is an incredible opportunity to teach them young, let them have their own enterprise, and get it all set up. But when you come back to the farm, especially having somebody who's so open and willing to share their process, where they're at, teach you everything that they know. I was expecting to be in a management position in 2 years. I was expecting to have my own cows, my own, you know, section. I was wanting to come in and run and manage all the cows, and I would have totally screwed it up. So my dad he's not an idiot. He didn't let me do any of that. Anyway. But I was very opinionated, and of course I was shooting all over the farm. You know, Dad, you should, I learned in college, I watched on YouTube, we should. And I'm sure it was incredibly frustrating for him. And I would ask questions because I was curious, I was wanting to learn, I was wanting to, you know, if Dad dies tomorrow, I want to be able to take over this operation. What do I need to do to get there? You know, which is good because I was wanting to learn, I was wanting to help, and I think I made my dad a lot of money there. He learned a lot while I was asking questions too. But it's incredibly frustrating putting myself, now having my own son, putting myself in the position where my dad was at. It's good to be able to take your mind, pull it back, and say, how's this other person feel about this? You know, so now I know a lot of the reasons by running my own cows on why my dad doesn't do something. And when we go back to work together full time or work together on the weekends or help him out with cows or whatever, I'm gonna try to do better about shooting all over his farm. You know, I understand where he's at, where he's coming from better now that I've got a few years under my experience. And we have to appreciate those old timers that helped us get to where we are. We have to appreciate the fact that they are sharing enough with us and comfortable enough with us that we can tell them you should. And then we should not tell them you should. We should ask why. We should seek to understand. We should not offer so much of our own advice without being asked about it, unless it's going to make them a lot of money. And I think these old timers, at least I'm this way, or what I hope I'm this way when I get to be an old timer, is young people have a lot of energy. And so if we can get things into their hands and give them an opportunity and a training opportunity before they're ready to take over, that's really cool because they get to learn new things. I remember one of the things I taught my dad the first time he ever saw me do it, his jaw dropped. And then the more I did it, the farther down his jaw dropped, literally, is I used a little poly wire here to move 50 cows into a pen. And he was sending over 5 guys, 2 trailers with 3 or 4 side-by-sides and a four-wheeler and a couple of pickup trucks and a wagon full of feed. And I said, no, watch. You just show up. And he was there, and I said, look, hold this and stand right there. And so what we did is we just stretched it out. And he'd been doing this. I took over a farm he'd been running on, and he'd been doing this for years. But anyway, so I just circled him with the hot wire or the poly wire. It was dead, and they just walked right on in. And so these young guys, we have a lot of if you're an older guy watching this or an older gal, these young folks have a lot of energy. They have a lot of knowledge, access that nobody used to have a YouTube, and farmers aren't generally voracious readers of material, books, magazines, although the ones that are, you should find them and talk to them because they're interesting. But we got to be careful of the shoulding. You should try this. I used to tell my dad, you should try this, you should try this, you should try this. And when I showed him, because I had the experience under my belt, now he's got these things, he's got probably more reels than I do. He uses them differently than me. I move my cows more often and do different things than he does, but he's tried them, So until you gain a little bit of experience, a little bit of knowledge on what you're actually talking about, keep your shoulds to yourself. Share what you're doing. Maybe make a YouTube video on it. You could show them, or just a video on it. You could show them. If you see something that I'm doing. My dad's a skeptic. I think most good farmers are skeptics, and so that won't work here is a big one. That won't work here. Every farm has that. That won't work here. Oh, nice. Yeah, sounds like it's a lot of money. You can make a lot of money doing that, but that won't work here. I think it was Henry Ford that said, whether you think you can or you think you can, you're right. And so, sometimes people just don't want to try new things, and that's fine. But sometimes if they see something cool and something that's working and something that's going to make their life easier, make them more money, then, they're willing to try it. So as a young farmer, my recommendation is to get some experience under your belt, get your own section. One of the things that I did is I bought my own cows. I got my own farm. My dad helped me step into all this, and now I've grown it from there. But get started and try your own thing before you take it back and should your father or should your mom, whoever's running the farm. Because once you've got that experience under your belt and you know how to do it and how to apply it to their operation, and you have the numbers to show them, it gets a lot easier. Otherwise, you're going to be frustrated, they're going to be frustrated, and it just, sometimes you get into a lot of yelling matches. And if you're family, you can overcome that, but it could be a challenging period of life. And I caused a lot of that, I will say, looking back. I'm a big part of the issue. My dad wouldn't have any issues before I came back. But I stirred a lot of things up. And we learned a lot together, and we did a lot together, and we still do. But I'm a little more respectful now than I was when I first graduated college and came back to the farm. So I recommend you start where I'm at now and just be respectful. Gain some knowledge. Now for you old timers, you guys that have been running the farm for a while, here's my recommendation for you. Here's what you should do. Figure out a way to limit the risk and help provide the experience for the next generation coming on. Really, that's probably the biggest, fastest, best thing you could do for somebody. Take 30 acres, give them 10 cows, let them buy their own cows, let them find a rental property, help support them. I won't tell you to co-sign on a loan, but if you're comfortable with that and you can help manage it and oversee it, we've got to figure out ways to provide opportunities for these young folks to get cash in the game, because you learn more when you get cash in the game, and to build that experience, because especially the farms where you're highly leveraged, as we get older, we've got to have the next generation, that next set of energy coming on, and we don't want them to step into this and not have any idea what's going on. And the other problem I see in farming is there's a lot of 90-year-old men who still have the farm under their thumb, and the third generation's coming on, and the second generation is never managed. And so once we lose the wisdom and the decision-making ability of those old timers, you know, if you're just stuck in the technician role, that gets to be a challenge. You know, you may be setting your next generations up for failure. So get them educated, get them the experience, and help them out, because we're doing all this for the future. And you know, we need more farmers out there that are capable, willing, and we need them to be profitable and enjoying what they do, so we could do it again for the next generation. So hope this helps you guys. If you're coming back to the farm, you're interested, if you like this content, like, subscribe, and follow for more. We appreciate you.